I recently wrote a blog out on our wrenchway.com site that talks about pay, and the name of the blog is Pay Really Everything? I wrote that blog a little bit from personal experience and some of the things that I had gone through over the course of my career. And I think that they're relevant to a lot of people. And why is that? I think when we look at jobs and we look at opportunities in a way to maybe go to a different position that we perceive as better, we look at pay. We don't look at the other benefits as nearly as much as what we do with pay, right? I think we're all guilty of it. I've made moves in my career based on pay and maybe even job title, right? Those are two big ones to me, and so as I'd made those calls and as I'd made judgments based on pay alone, I found out they weren't very good ideas and they weren't really good fits. And what I mean by that is once I got in there and I really got working, I was miserable. I was not happy. And it was because I didn't look at some really, really key areas that were going to be vital to my happiness. A major one is who you're working for. Really, uh, do they prioritize you? Do they respect you? In some cases, I can honestly say that wasn't the case, and it makes your life miserable. So even though you're taking home a good paycheck, it might not necessarily be that you're happy. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're going for, right? We're going to be happy. We're trying to be happy. And I think a lot of us feel that money drives that, right? And there is some level of truth to that, right? If I think being able to have some financial freedom is a big, big deal. But when it's at the sacrifice of your own happiness, that can be a huge mistake. So that's a big one. Secondly, really looking at other things, other variables that can have an impact on the job other than money, right? So when I say that, maybe talk about health insurance. And when I was a young tech coming into the workforce, one of the things I never looked at was benefits. And why didn't I? Because I was uh, a young employee that never went to the hospital. I never went, not even for checkups or physicals or anything. So insurance wasn't important to me. Where it impacted me was that when I saw my first paycheck and I saw how much was taken out for insurance, I had a little bit of a problem with that, right? I didn't know that that was getting taken out. I heard about taxes growing up. I knew taxes were coming out, but then you see that nice chunk of money that leaves for insurance, and that initial rate that I was being paid didn't look as attractive anymore, right? So those are some really, really big variables on top of just general work environment and how comfortable you feel and how much of a fit it is for you. That's a big deal, and something that I don't think we take as serious maybe as we should. Again, if somebody throws a bunch of cash out there and wants you to come work for them, it's hard not to take off the rose colored glasses to really look at the opportunity and see what it is and see what it, are you going to be happy? If you're not going to be happy, don't do it. Coming from a firsthand experience of going to a place or two that really weren't a fit for me, and that's not to say that they're bad businesses or that they're bad people. It was just a different style and maybe one that I wasn't used to. So that's a huge deal. And so at the end of the day, when I say is pay really everything, what I'm really alluding to is that I want you to be happy. I think you should be happy, and that's really why you're making that move in the first place. Is you're trying to search for that happiness and how you're going to be satisfied when you come into work every day. So when I wrote that blog, that's kind of the whole intent. My heart was really behind it because that's been something that's personally affected me throughout my career, and hopefully that helps you as you move through and try to make a decision. Good luck and take care.